What's up guys, CyberHoudini here and welcome back to your daily dose of gaming, baby. We are here. It is 8th of April. We are flying through these months. Where the hell is the year going at all? But it still feels like we're trapped in a never-ending cycle of shit. But luckily we have games to keep us going. Dynamite, thank you for that host. We have the game that keeps going and we have the fucking gaming news to keep us going. This daily dose has been an awesome little extra to add things to it. You know, it gives me a chance to basically sit back and talk gaming news with all y'all before we actually get into the games. Hell yes! I hope you're having a good day, Dynamite. Appreciate it. Appreciate you lurking before the stream starts. I like it. I like it. Alright, let's get straight into the news. We got a whole lot of conspiracies and stuff going on today. I like it. I like it. Let's go straight into it with some Resident Evil goodness. So, Resident Evil 8 and Village, whatever the hell they want to call it, they keep changing the name of it. They're basically going to do another little showcase, which is nice. Fucking Eurogamer never blows up their shits. Alright, cool. Yeah, so it's going to happen on the 15th of April. They're going to be showing off more of Resident Evil Village. I've already said I've seen enough now at this point, but they seem happy enough to just keep it going. You know, so many people are hyped for this game. I even heard that there's another demo coming. Yeah, like 2 demos. It's ridiculous. If you do enough digging, you can actually still go back and get the, what was it, the beginning hour demo for Resident Evil 7, which I still love. I wish they kept it in the game because it was super cool. I would have loved if they kept that in the game just before, you know, Ethan showed up. Would have been really cool because it felt like one of those kind of awesome but cringy, like, ghost hunting shows. Cracks me up. And it felt like there was a ghost or something there. You know, Mia was really freaky. She was hanging out the walls and everything. We lost a little bit of that in the main game. But yeah, I'm excited for this, mainly because it is their 25th anniversary. And as much as I know they want to dedicate all their time to Resident Evil Village, I really want them to pay homage to, you know, the rest of the series. I'd really love to get the old games, even if they're not completely remastered, on, you know, PS4. You know, before the remakes, the originals. Especially the way things went down with Resident Evil 3. It'd be nice to have them because they kind of get lost in the shuffle with all the remakes, you know. Although the remakes are fantastic, for sure. Even the Resident Evil remake, which I think was the 2nd or 3rd remake of that game, which is insane. So when people say, oh, they're not going to remake this again, well, here's Exhibit A with fucking Resident Evil. The game has got so many fucking remakes, and back then they used to just put it was like RE, capital RE, remake. But yeah, they finally kind of settled with the one they did for Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0. But I'd love for those games to get the new remake treatment, but I know that's a lot to ask. It's a lot of stuff. We'll see. Yeah, like if I was them, now is the time to be putting that demo onto PS4, you know. Having it just on PS5, it's not enough, especially when, you know, you've got less than, what, 5 million out there in the world. But we don't know for sure. We know how many's been sold through, but how many is in actual people's hands? I don't know. Maybe 3 million. Who knows? Who knows? It's crazy. But I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to tune in. It's just, I'm nearly at this point where I have to cover my eyes because they've shown off so much of the game that it worries me, you know? Start to see like 10% of the game already. Fuck that shit. Fuck it. Anyway, so that is scheduled for April 15th. Resident Evil 8 itself is coming out very early in May. Speaking of May, we have a very small game delay with Deathloop. Deathloop was also meant to be coming out in May as well. And I knew that one of these games was gonna basically, you know, get delayed. I was thinking it might have been Biomutant. But luckily Biomutant has escaped the delay train. Doesn't look like anybody has. But yeah, they've dropped a nice little video there from Arcane Lyon. They are a French studio. It's pretty good. Like I said, I still think that Deathloop has a very like big problem right now where it's not been able to translate its identity to people. Where nobody knows what kind of fucking game it is, you know? You want to go in going, ooh, it's going to be like Dishonored, and clearly it's not. And you're like, ooh, is it a co-op battle royale? Nope. Nobody knows what the fucking thing is. It's kind of crazy. It's a time loop game. I don't know. I wish them the best. It's definitely something I'd like to play. They make incredible games. Hello, Bernie. How's it going? There's a photo mode in Resi 8, so you know. Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna be booty everywhere. Booty. Sure. Did I tell you about the GameStop in Korea has one of those cutouts? You know, cardboard cutouts. They do it for every game, but they have one of Lady Dimitrescu, and it's 9 foot tall. It's so funny. It's like twice the height of most people. It's so funny. How are you guys doing? Yeah, so it's a little bit of a delay. I believe the original date was like the end of May 30th or something like that. So it's a little bit of a, yeah, it's not like a month or a couple of weeks. But I mean, they obviously need the time. So be it. Yeah, it was originally scheduled to May 21st. So my God, yeah, that's a hefty delay for sure. That is like, you know, almost 4 full months. But it's all good. It's all good. I think this will give them enough time. Being in May, they were already battling Mass Effect, Resident Evil 8, and Biomutant. As much as most of them will count out Biomutant, that is actually secretly my most excited game for in May, even though like we've got powerhouses like the whole Mass Effect trilogy. I can't wait for that. I have all them downloaded. I was ready to do a series on it. But this is much better. I was hoping and wishing and praying, and luckily waiting has paid off. Because I did play Andromeda on the channel, and yeah, it's nowhere near the originals. So yeah, that is the update with Deathloop. I wish them the best. I don't think any game is exactly exempt from delays right now, you know. It's just the way it goes. If you're waiting on a game, just expect delays and be very happy when there's not. Like recently, Returnal, that game that's coming out at the end of this month, the PS5 exclusive, that just went gold, so that's good news, very good news. Alright, on to the nice piece of news. I reported yesterday on a game called Abandoned yesterday. Let's see if I can find the tab. When you have so many tabs opened, I don't even see it at all. God damn it. Alright. Let's head over here and talk about Kojima. So, yeah, I was talking about this a good while ago about when Phil Spencer did his little live stream back in February. He had like a Switch in the background, and he also had Kojima's statue in the background. And Phil Spencer's one of those guys, he does nothing just for show, you know what I mean? He used to wear t-shirts of all these games, and they would end up being, you know, games coming out. And in this case, they were able to hide like the Xbox Series S in one of their streams. But in this case, they actually hid, you know, the Kojima statue logo. And a lot of people have surmised that this is either Death Stranding coming to Xbox, which I'd say is pretty possible. I mean, it's already on PC, for God's sake. I bet a lot of people are thinking that it's possibly Kojima's next game that he's going to maybe publish them with Xbox, seeing as he's not beholden to Sony anymore, you know. Sony should probably just buy up Kojima, but we'll see where that goes. I'm excited, you know. He's a visionary. Metal Gear Solid series is just a legendary tactical shooter series. It just blows your mind every time. And Zone of the Enders, Death Stranding, we all had our jokes about it, but you can definitely say that there has nothing quite like Death Stranding out there, and there'll be nothing like it again. It was something special. The music was amazing. He really captured desolation. It was like being stuck, you know, being parachuted onto Iceland with nothing, just walking around Iceland. It was quite wild. Damn it. I'll have to find that. Yes. Wait, I bet you it's this one over here. It's just worded really wrong. Yeah, it is. Fucking idiots. Alright. Don't know how to word their own articles. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. The talk around the town, especially with MLB, the show going on the Game Pass, is that Sony is furious. Xbox are still in talks of keeping their wallet open. Like this, but them buying Discord possibly has nothing got to do with their game division. So there's still talks, and Sony are now starting to open up their war chest as well. So I would say over the course of this year and next year, you're going to see a lot more developers just bought up. It's probably good for their life, the life of the developer, but it's not good for things like exclusives and that. It's just going to cause more console wars, you know. And I've noticed a lot of these studios that get bought, they end up getting basically liquidized into the rest of the studios. Sony does the same thing as well. They're doing it right now with Sony Japan, which was one of their most incredible studios. Now gone to the wind, which is, you hate to see that. Well, a lot of them are going to different Sony developers, which is great, but you're not going to see the same kind of output, you know. It's always different when it's a different studio, or even a different team, you know. There's the possibility of making another game, but when you're just another cog in the wheel making, you know, this AAA game or that AAA game, you know, you're never really seen at that point. Just another voice. Yeah, so we'll see about that. I well believe that would be another little, you know, cog in Phil Spencer's wheel. He definitely wants things like that. I've talked about this before, that over the course of the PS4 generation, they definitely took a lot of ideas away from the Xbox 360, you know. It felt like they went and saw what they did right that generation, and then Xbox kind of blundered. And it looks like Xbox are now going like, alright, what do Sony have that we don't have that we can get? Boom. What does Sony have that we don't have? Boom. You know, that kind of way. So it's clear that they know very well they can't make quite a splash in Japan, but with Sony's failings in Japan lately, it's not just a big deal. It's not just a big loss, you know. Japan's gaming market is evolving and moving on. You know, they're heavily into mobile and Switch. It's just the way it is. So if your console is static, if it's stuck to just a TV screen, it's obviously not what everybody wants over in Japan, you know. So with the success of something like Genshin Impact, people need to just wake the fuck up and see what's going on, you know. $1 billion in 6 months. Yeah, wake up. You gotta restructure, lads, come on. I'm not saying make all your games mobile, but good God, maybe this is the whole idea behind the xCloud. Get all the games on mobile devices. But it is true, like, look at us nowadays, even when it comes to streaming, everything. We want everything on the go. We want everything to be able to work in our hands as we move around. I like it. IRL backpacks and that are bigger than ever, you know. Used to be like 2 streamers that had them because they were so expensive, and now you can't piss without an IRL backpack being submerged in someone's dirty hot tub water. God damn it, Twitch! Alright, on to the next piece of news. I'm just joking around. Let's actually stick with Kojima. This is the one that really surprised me. So I was talking about a new horror game yesterday called Abandoned, right? It's a first-person survival horror game. They're trying to go for hugely realistic graphics. It is on the PS5. You're going to be like aiming and reloading and shooting your gun like a real gun. You're not going to be fucking John Wick. You're going to have to raise it, steady your aim, maybe hold your hand like that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. A lot of people have been saying, is this secretly a PT game? Like, you know, is it a Silent Hill game? Is this possible? I showed it off yesterday. It looks pretty cool. People started to go down a really weird conspiracy as soon as I finished my stream yesterday, which was wild, where they started to think it was a Kojima game, you know, because of the studio not having much of a history and just coming out with something like this. It is a PS5 exclusive. They barely have like a internet presence at all. They're called Blue Box Game Studios, and everyone connected like BB. They thought it was like BB from Death Stranding. So it got so irate and out of control that the studio itself had to come out and say, no, we're not connected to Kojima and all this kind of stuff. It was wild, absolutely wild. Over the course of like 3 hours, there was a massive witch hunt. Looks like a great game. It's a PS5 exclusive that's coming out later on in the year. They're going for pure realism, you know, 4K 60. Everything has like photorealistic graphics. It is a first-person survival horror game for sure. We don't get to see any of the monsters yet, but it's definitely giving me, you know, like Slender and you know, Blair Witch vibes for sure. We'll see about that. It's just weird how the internet can get hold of something. The thing about like this, even if they thought it was Kojima, it's too sloppy for Kojima, you know. When PT happened, it was right in front of our eyes all the time, you know. It wasn't until people finished it. It took a while because it was a very confusing little game, you know. It wasn't until they finished it and locked that ending, and then you got like, you know, Silent Hills. You got good old sloppy face of what's his greasy head? What's his name? Norman Reedus. Good old Norman Reedus. That man has not washed his hair the whole way through the events of The Walking Dead. He's like a member of the Oasis. It's like, somebody get them some shampoo. And after all, it's head and shoulders. Alright, Liam. Alright, I'm gonna fucking knock you out, mate. Why do those brothers keep kicking the shit out of each other? Why? They have millions and millions of dollars. Very successful British band. but they can't stop beating the fuck out of each other. Crazy bastards! Yeah, so it ended up being a wild goose chase, of course. I kind of feel bad for the studio in a way because it is free publicity, but, you know, by the time this game comes out, 6 months from now, maybe, you know, no one's going to remember this. But it is just interesting to see how crazy the Kojima and the Silent Hill and the horror fan base is. We are just dying for some news on that for sure. And like most things connected to Konami, who own Silent Hills, we're actually going to end up being heavily disappointed. They're obviously working on a couple of Silent Hill games. I'm talking about this already, but they're going to end up being like, you know, Silent Hill Homecoming and that. They're being handed off to different developers who, you know, at the end of the day, it'll never be quite like Team Silent. I think Silent Hill died after Silent Hill 4. It's just kind of simple as that. Whatever came after that was bastardized versions. But it's all good. I just want more horror games, to tell you the truth. You know, because right now the only true survival horror games we have is Resident Evil. You know, and as much as I love what Capcom are doing right now, they can do no wrong for sure. But if they're left at their own devices, Capcom will go down the same road, and you will have about 85 Resident Evil games. I promise you that. We'll be back at the Umbrella Chronicles days or the Operation Raccoon City days. I promise you, because where there's money to be made, there will be milkers. Milkers! Giant, beautiful Capcom-sized milkers. Her name is Lady Dimitrescu, and everybody is having weird wet dreams about her. Alright, there's some milkers for you. So yeah, you gotta understand these are companies and they can run their shit into the ground. They don't really care as long as you're still buying them. It sucks. Usually you get away with like one bad game when people will buy it just going, okay, this is another one of this series that I love. But then they start doing like 3 bad games. Like, I was so sad to see what happened to Silent Hill, you know. And when you go and look at the history, of all those American Silent Hill games. They're so bad, and they picked the weirdest studios ever. Weird. It was like they just drew them out of a hat, you know, the Sorting Hat. Some of them were known for doing like an old Spec Ops spin-off game that didn't sell too well. Like, yep, perfect for Silent Hill, of course. So silly. Anyway, on to next little piece of news. You know that I have been hotly anticipating Dying Light 2 along with so many other people. But luckily, the guys over at Techland have finally kind of broke their silence. I talked about this. They're slowly but surely doing more interviews, more little video exposés. So we are ramping things up, hopefully, to a release date for this year. They're very much still talking about 2021. They're talking about how they've had to go back, basically, and, you know, I hope it's not for the worst, but it seems like they've had to go back and kind of retool the game a little bit. Maybe their vision was a little bit too ambitious. You know, you just hope we don't see too much cut content. But luckily, they've supported Dying Light for 5 years with non-stop DLC. So I trust these guys, you know. If it gets cut, it'll be made into DLC probably, you know. Yeah, they brought out a video recently where they basically read a whole lot of mean tweets and said, like, please, you know, give us more time. We're almost there. So, yeah, I'm excited. I just don't want to see it go down the Dead Island 2 path where it's just vaporware. That's the worst thing that can happen, you know. It just feels like a lot of wasted hype and wasted talent, really, you know. Somebody has been working on it. Someone's probably worked on Dead Island 2 for years, you know. So we don't want that to happen. It's nice to see them doing more interviews. Keep it up, guys. We are with you, Techland. We are with you. Take all the time you need, but just keep talking. Keep talking to us. Going silent for a year does not help anybody. It just creates crazy stuff. Crazy, like, fans who are, like, you know, sending you death threats and stuff. Here's one of the shots. I'm glad they used this. This is Games Radar, who are reporting on this. I do actually check them from time to time. But this is a sign of one of the evolved, what you call them, volatiles. How's it going, DPG? Hello! Welcome. So we know the volatiles are these transformed zombies that come out at night. They almost get stronger at nighttime, as if the moonlight itself, the lunar eclipse, makes them all strong. And they're a really cool zombie. And I'm glad that they're actually doing something else with them, because it's probably the best and scariest part of Dying Light. Of course, until you get strong enough to, you know, take them on yourself. We'll see. We had such a huge piece of gameplay from Dying Light 2. Showed off parkour, showed off this cool little infection kind of bracelet you wear. You have to keep an eye on your infection levels. Lots of stuff like that. And it felt almost done. And I think it really was. Like, I think there's just a lot of turmoil going on over there. At Techland. Dying Light 2 is another game that they're probably going to want to put on PS4 and Xbox One, and they're probably going through the exact same thing that Cyberpunk's going through, where they actually want to delete and just fucking forget about the old version, but they can't. They have too much of a commitment now, and they're afraid they're shite of becoming another Cyberpunk. If Cyberpunk had released on PC, cancelled the Xbox One and Xbox or fucking PS4 version, I'm not even care about those consoles anymore. I don't even fucking care. They're holding us all back. And just maybe if they just release the PC version of Cyberpunk and then the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions, you know, like 6 months, a year later, whatever it needed to be, I think things we'd be looking at a very different story right now. But unfortunately, that's not the way things went. But these developers need to know how to take risks as well. Neato! I don't hear people say neat anymore, Bernie. It's definitely like a 1950s thing. I like it. Done watching The Expendables 2. Oh, you poor bastard. Jesus Christ, those movies. I've never seen a movie series get so bad so fast. Like, even Fast and Furious held on as long as it could, and then it just got ridiculous. But yeah, The Expendables was just an excuse to get them all together. Have you ever watched The Escape Plan? That's a good movie. Go watch The Escape Plan. That was a bit of fun. I think that has Arnie and Stallone in it as well. Hell yeah. Any of those new action movies are just garbage. Go back and watch like the classics. Go back and watch the Rambo series, Rocky, and Arnie's side. Go watch like Commando, Predator, Terminator 1 and 2, obviously. Hell yes. Some great series back then. True Lies is amazing as well. But Arnie's movies start to get a bit crazy. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, you could watch like Bloodsport. What was the other one? Like Kickboxer. There's so many great ones back then, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, Terminator 2 is amazing. It's almost like a classic at this point. It never gets old. Terminator 1 is great as well. It's almost like a horror movie. It's so fucked up. Arnie is just insane. That bit where he like grabs the knife and pulls his eye socket out. So fucked up. Fucked up. Alright, cool. Anything else here? Some of these articles are great and interviews are great, but it's a little hard to skim through some of the good stuff, you know. I could read them before I go live, but you know, that kind of retention just doesn't work for me. Because I have like 15 tabs opened. It don't work like that. But I am excited. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, they're talking about the lockdown, of course. Of course. Europe was hit pretty bad. And then, of course, like, you know, a lot of the poorer countries in Eastern Europe, they'd be hit extra bad as well. No one was ready for this shit. But yeah, they've already talked about wanting to push for, you know, 4K and 60 for the new consoles, ray tracing. It's all good stuff, but I don't want them to sacrifice quality for that shite, you know. 60 would be nice, but 4K is, there's no need for all that, you know. And ray tracing, you know how I feel about that. It's fine. It's just a buzzword. It's not going to make our games any better at the end of the day. Light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, let's see. Angry tweets. Yeah, it was interesting they did that. The story behind like Coach Media and Techland and all that, and how they like split off away after Dead Island. They knew Dead Island was going to be this huge thing, and clearly everybody got too big for the boots. It's an interesting story. I'd love to see someone like NoClip do a documentary around it, but there's probably too many hurt feelings to talk about it. But they'll never even mention the other game, you know. It's the way it goes. Alright, cool. On to the next piece of news. We have a nice little piece of news around Blasphemous. You know I love this game. Hell yes. They just talked about a deluxe edition. Yeah, it's available on Amazon, which is great as well. But it's really nice edition. You can get it. If you like your physical stuff, we know we still do. Gorgeous art, some stickers, digital comic, art book, soundtrack, the whole 9 yards. That's something I would love to get myself. That'd be a lovely piece of collector's. Last Action Hero. Yeah, he started to get a bit ridiculous then with the faces and everything, Bernie. But yeah, Last Action Hero I still think holds up. I think once you get into Jingle All the Way, fucking hell, like he doesn't even look like he has the same face. The original like Total Recall as well. But no, they're great movies back then. Yeah, I was saying the 90s had some great action movies. Demolition Man was awesome as well. Just slowly as we went into the 2000s, they started to get a bit more ridiculous. But they were really good. Really good movies. I like them. They have like a certain amount of like cringe to them, but in a good way. It's that action movie stuff. Steven Seagal has some good movies out then as well, like Under Siege. That dude is crazy. He's like 6'5" or 6'7" or something. He had like a TV show where he was a cop and all this. It's wild. Anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit of Blasphemous stuff. Go pick it up. Support that dev. They're working on a little documentary around the game, which is really cool. I can't wait for that. Great European developer. Alright, on to another little piece of news. Stadia are not slowing down for nothing. More new games announced for the Stadia. We're going to do some Spider-Man Miles Morales after this. I think tomorrow we might be able to finish off Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and that'd be a nice way to end off the week with some motherfucking progress. We might even finish Spider-Man Miles Morales tonight. It's pretty short. So yeah, this is mainly new indie games, but a lot of stuff we haven't heard of yet, which is pretty cool. Hell yeah, we got Jay and Silent Bob's game in there, which is cool. Figment 2, really beautiful games, those. That Darkside Detective as well is a new one, which for some reason the model looks like some other game I remember. But yeah, good on the Stadia. Like I said, they've kind of bowed out of making games themselves with the Stadia Studios, which is fine. You know, that happens. I think Amazon are kind of doing the same thing. It's fine. It's a very expensive racket, you know, to pump like hundreds of millions into game development for a maybe, you know, a shot at the maybes is it's a big risk. So in this way, they're actually pumping all that money into game licensing. We're getting all the games for the Stadia, so that's pretty cool. I definitely urge you guys to check out the Stadia. You can play it all through your browser. If you want to see it in action, go check out Proper Play Streams, because he is the one. He is the Stadia man. He knows what he's talking about. This was a fun little piece of news I wanted to bring up to you guys. There's freaking Smurf Games coming. Smurf Games. I feel like I'm back in the PS2 days. Good lord, like I don't know, they're coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, the whole lot. So I don't think it's gonna be like a mobile game, but I don't know microids too much, or microids. I don't know. It sounds a bit dodgy when I say it like that. But yeah, 4 new Smurf video games coming. That's wild. We know they kind of drove the Smurf movies into the ground, unfortunately. Same with the Muppet movies, just absolute garbage. Garbage fire. The first one wasn't so bad, and then Muppets Most Wanted is just, it's not worth the film it's printed on. It's sad because I grew up watching a lot of the Muppets movies and they were amazing. Obviously, Muppets Christmas Carol, I talk about them often, but there's so many better ones. And of course the Muppet Show as well. But it's cool, like I grew up watching Smurfs 2, the original cartoon. Really funny. The movies they did, it's another one of those things where they just keep shoehorning live action shit into it when they don't need it. Then they went and did the Smurfs The Lost Village, which had potential. Wasn't a big fan of the animation style, and the story was a bit kaput. Like every single episode of the old show of Smurfs was centered around like Gargamel doing this or that, and they were all like movie-worthy storylines in their own right. You know what I mean? They're really cool. There's very little filler there, but they just can't seem to get a good writer. It's disgraceful. Did anyone watch the new Tom and Jerry movie yet? God damn, does it look bad, and the ads are not doing any good for like the TV spots and that. Every time I look at it, it's just Chloe Martise or whatever. Chloe Grace Martise just doing a stupid face. What happened to her? Like, what happened to her? She went from Kick-Ass 1 and 2. She was doing so many great movies there. What happened? How do you land a role like Tom and Jerry? I don't know. That's crazy to me. I've never seen a star disappear off the face of the planet. What happened to her? I'll tell you what happened. She did too many of those young adult movies like Brain on Fire, Face on Fire, Wallet on Fire, all that kind of shit, and they don't sell anymore. They don't sell. They need to stop making these Nicholas Sparks shits. The Notebook was 2003 or something. They've never been that good after that. Stop doing it. That's not what people want. And treating these young adults, as they call them, teenagers, like actual kids. They're not that stupid. So yeah, it's clear that that's absolutely nosedived her acting career, which is so sad to see. Like, she seems like a good person, right? I like her in Kick-Ass and a good couple of movies out there as well that I can't remember right now. She was really good in The Equalizer. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is such a great actor. If he hasn't got an Oscar yet, he deserves one. Denzel is fucking awesome. He's so good. He's so good. Speaking of Brain on Fire, I recently watched Man on Fire, and it still holds up. So good. But that's Tony Scott for you. The late Tony Scott, unfortunately. Ridley Scott's brother. Great movie. Equalizer movies are really good. It was kind of, there were remakes of these old Vengeance movies, but it was kind of trying to ride the whole Taken train that's been going on lately. Why does this fucking playlist get so loud out of nowhere? God damn it. Audio balance is like, it's like an infection that no one seems to know about. No one seems to get it right in video games either. It's like, yeah, we're gonna blow your ear holes off and then you're not gonna hear a single conversation afterwards. Thanks a lot. But yeah, Denzel, holy shit. And then the Flight as well. Flight's one of my favorites. It's a great kind of subversive movie where you think it's about like the hero of Hudson Bay and all that. It's like, no, fuck you. And it's Robert Zemeckis as well. Hell yes. Anyway, so Smurf Games, wild as it is. There you go. Let's see. Oh, that's what happened. I opened 2 of the Dying Light stuff. Okay, cool. On to the next little piece of news. Straight in there from Wario64. If you're not following Wario64 on Twitter, what are you doing with your life? He's basically the deals man. He will get you deals all across the internet, all across the world. And he's really good. And he's just reported that Sunset Overdrive is now $5 on Steam. Will you please play Sunset Overdrive? I want a sequel. I don't care if it comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Stadia, your mom's fucking broom cupboard. I don't care where it comes to, but I want Sunset Overdrive too. Insomniac are probably busy with Spider-Man 2 right now, but baby, give me that Sunset Overdrive 2. It's amazing for $5 frickin' It's like Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk's on crack. Mix that up with Ratchet and Clank's amazing guns, and boom, baby. You've got Sunset Overdrive. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. It's a pretty special game. I bought an Xbox One for it. Played anything? Nope. Buying deluxe edition of Sunset. Yeah, do it, dude. Do it. Stop thinking about it and do it. The DLC is actually really worth it. I don't often say that, but it adds so much like. It's not that long, but it adds some really cool traversal upgrades, including like, you just feel like Superman. You feel like Superman. So yeah, please go support them guys. Insomniac are amazing. They're the one developer who seems to be keeping next gen actually alive with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and who knows what else. They are a developer to keep an eye on. I promise you that. Promise you. They're probably working on stuff for PSVR as well. Alright. On to, let's see, a next little piece of news. I copped this today. This is a teaser for a new game, which is called Gourd. And it's a very small teaser, but it looks amazing. Yeah, these guys are being very suspicious. Like, you try and go to their website, it's called, like, Covenant or something. So who knows what the game is called or what, but it says Gourd. So, yeah, keep an eye out for this one. It's creepy, it looks realistic. I'm down for this stuff. Like, yeah. I like little teasers like that, because I showed you guys Abandoned yesterday, and lo and behold, it's just a boop. So things like this can take off, you know. Look, Covenant.dev. So obviously it's still early development, but what they're working with there, very small teaser. Alright, now we're moving into some of the last pieces of news for today. Streets of Rage is getting some DLC, which is fucking awesome. We see more and more of these brawlers coming back. I love it. We're getting a new TMNT game that's going to reflect the Turtles in Time games, which is super cool. So it's nice to see Streets of Rage getting a DLC. I played it on the channel. I love this. Streets of Rage 4 feels like a natural progression of the series. You know, you're getting that kind of new art style while keeping everything beautiful, and it plays awesome. It was actually pretty difficult as well. And it looks like there's going to be a nice chunky DLC. There's going to be 3 new playable characters, I believe. All about Mr. X, of course. In the game, you get to fight his children. He was one of the original bosses. I believe he comes up in Streets of Rage 2. I'm not sure. Maybe he was in the first one as well. I'd say so. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Hell yeah. Estelle. She was badass. I called her Ronda Rousey Cop, because she aroused me. I'm thinking, yeah, you should definitely. Any more information about that ill game? No, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with me. Like, I do need to stop doing that. I kind of pre on things. And the stuff with ill, everything I've shown you about that game and is them working on the gore mechanics alone. I mean, they haven't, I wouldn't even say like it's a working game right now, you know. But I'll keep an eye on it, don't worry, dude. But that is clearly, you know, you'd be, the closest thing you to see of any gameplay of that would be maybe like this time next year. Maybe. It's the same with that Atomic Heart game I showed off, the Russian Bioshock, as I like to call it. I have been watching that bitch for 2 years, and I've known that it's a long way out, and I have to try and stop myself from talking about it, because I'm in the same position, you know. If I don't get to play a game I'm hyped for 6 months down the line, it's tough to keep that hype alive, you know. It's tough. It's tough as stuff. Yeah, 3 new characters to play as. They all seem to be bosses from the main game, which is kind of cool. I like when you get to play as bosses. Nice. All right, here we go. Let's see. This is not really relating to game, but it's a movie based on a game. But Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, I think, is one of the greatest video game CGI movies ever made. Like, the Resident Evil ones are pretty good. There's been some cool ones over the years. The Dead Space one is awesome as well. You should give that a watch. Even the Dante's Inferno one is fucking sick as well. But Advent Children was incredible. Like, they obviously made a Final Fantasy movie years and years ago that was a complete flop. Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I actually have it here because I was just that much of a Final Fantasy nut back then, and it was horrible. It almost crippled and destroyed Square Enix as we know them. It was just nonsense, you know. It was one of the most expensive movies to make because it was purely new CGI technology, you know, and it had nothing got to do with the series at all. It was its own weird story about these souls and stuff. Oh, fucking, it was so stupid. I can't even sit through it now. Can't do it. But Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, oh my god, this is a must watch for any Final Fantasy VII fan out there. It is a direct sequel to the game, and it's so cool. It takes place, obviously, a little while afterwards. You get to see everybody, you know, what they've done after the fall of Midgar and that, and it's just really cool, the whole reunion and everything. I've long since wanted them to basically turn this into a video game. I really want them to do that, and maybe they will with Ever Crisis. I'd love to see that happen, even with the new remakes. Just make it into its own game. There's enough fighting in that movie. There's amazing stuff. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. There's so much freedom as well. The movie seems to get the open world vibes that we love so well. And it's just fantastic fighting. Music is godly, and I think the voice acting's great. Like, they nailed a lot of voices back then. You know, obviously they didn't have voices. It was tough. And I loved Cloud's new look as well. He had this awesome bike, and it would like explode out into these like wings, and all of his swords were in the wings of the bike. It was so cool. So he could just like unleash his swords. It was badass. Hell yes. It's pretty hard to actually yeah. I don't know why it's called bizarre. It is definitely not bizarre. That's a weird take from Polygon. You get off your dick for 2 minutes. But yeah, it's cool that it's getting a remaster as well. I mean, with things going the way they are with the remakes, I would assume that they'd want to re-release this. And to me, that says that maybe there is plans for it in the future if they're doing that. Hell yes. Streets Rage, where the female-looking NPCs are guys. Oh, how's it going, Evil? No, I think Blade looks fantastic, you know. Just a female cop. A lot of female cops could probably kick our ass, let's be honest. They have to go to the academy. They have to be strong, you know. They have to be able to wrestle motherfuckers to the ground. So, yeah. But yeah, she's definitely never skipped Arm Day for sure. No, she's clearly modeled after Ronda Rousey. Look at the hair, look at everything. Whatever happened to Ronda Rousey? Did she end up leaving to do movies or something? I don't know. She seems to be going the same route as Conor McGregor. You either you know, leave these fucking sports a hero, or fucking die an idiot. Ugh! Anyway, for the last little piece of news, hope you're doing well, Evil. Last piece of news, I have been reporting on Super Seducer and how things have been going really wrong for this awesome little satire game. It's super sad. Richard LaRuna, he's the guy who basically plays the main character in these, you know, dating self-help games, if you want to call them that, but they're meant to be satire. They're meant to be cringe on purpose, very much like, you know, Borat or Ali G, you know, closer to that is what he's going for. But he's been going through a lot of shit. He was trying to get the third game out. He's had Super Seducer 1 and 2, and the third game looks pretty damn cool. He managed to get a couple of big streamers to play it in early access, but every time he's tried to get it on Steam, they've blocked him, and it's fucked up. So thanks to the hype around, you know, letting big streamers play it, he had upwards of 60,000 wish lists on Steam for this game. So after, I think, about 5 attempts trying to get it on Steam, they finally said no. And apparently he's getting to the bottom of it now, and it seems that they implemented a new rule nearly on the day that they rejected his game. We know that censoring is becoming so fucking insane this year. It's getting out of control, especially with Twitch and that. But Steam seems to be no different. Yeah. But so it seems to be that the rule they're catching him out in is no sexually explicit images of real people. Now he's already has like a censored version where 90% of the screen is blurred out. It almost seems ridiculous to do it, but you're trying to comply with these things, you know. The fact that Twitch has already let people play it and there's been no trouble shows that there is an actual targeted effort to stop this man's game, and I think it's so silly. In a world of snowflakes, this was a bit of fun, and he did say that he wants to work on a horror Seducer game. I do see a lot more of these FMV style horror games popping up, which is great, and I would love to play it. And this might end up sending him out of the game industry, and I don't want to see that happen. Yeah, I'm doing good. We're just going over a little bit of gaming news. So it sucks. So now they've been taken off Steam, which really sucks. And also, it seems that Super Seducer 1 and 2 categories are now gone from Twitch as well. So this is a genuine effort from somebody or some team to try and stop this man. Now, if I was going to play devil's advocate and make a guess what's going on here, I think he used somebody in one of his games, and now they're basically going to try and bring him to court, you know, or maybe a lawsuit about it. She probably you know, came on to work on the game. It's one of those things where maybe one of the older games where they didn't understand that it was meant to be satire. I don't know. We'll see. He's one of those quirky little guys who he's probably gotten into a lot of hot water with women over the years, you know. Just as time goes on, because satire and British dry humor is not recognized around the world. It's like its own thing, and it sucks because I look back at the old days of Ali G, and it's not the same. Like, even the new Borat movie is awesome, but it's very clear that it is so very like sedated. You know, it's the only word for it. It feels sedated compared to the first one. Obviously, a lot of the shock factor's gone just because that's how things go, but it sucks. I wish this guy the best, you know. There are other options out there. There's itch.io, there's GOG. I hope he can find a store, you know, because we've seen similar stuff happen with the Red Candle devs with Devotion, but in their case, they singled out a joke of a president, a very sensitive president, and now it's following them around because they have been completely blackballed. And I hope that doesn't happen to this guy, because I do like the games. They're, without a shadow of a doubt, some of the cringiest stuff you will see, but it is good kind of cringe. It's on purpose cringe. But yeah, I like it just to see what he's gonna do next. Yeah, Steam is slowly becoming a pilot's fair. It kind of always was, dude. Their curation was horrendous. PlayStation slowly but surely followed afterwards with horrible curation. They're just not looking at the games being put onto their store. Like, everybody brings up that Life of Black Tiger game, which is just like this fucking Lego Playmobil or whatever the hell it is model running around. It's so bad. Like something some kid made out of Roblox. They released it as a fully priced game. It's shocking. But see, here's the thing. They always get a cut. So it's in their best interest to have games on there. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, dude. But see, here's the thing. As the years have gone on, there are so many video games. So many. Every single month. I'd say, on average, the amount of games releasing every month, I would say it's upwards of 5,000 games. I know that sounds crazy. A month. But you go look at any of these websites, it's never ending. It's never ending. There's games like Keymailer that I use to get review codes and that, you know. And every single day, you have to go through page after page of games that come out. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. That's Steam. So, yeah. And then you've got things like, you know, cool little gaming programs like RPG Maker, where everybody can make their own game, which is really cool. There's some fantastic stuff that comes out of that, but unfortunately, you do end up creating a saturated store because of that as well. So it's a double-edged sword. Well, what should happen is all of these platform holders need to spruce up their curation team, you know. Don't leave it up to a boss, because they don't have a clue. Anyway, he has the game on a site called Games Planet. Yeah, I'd say like he might be able to put them on itch.io as well, maybe. But here's the thing, Bernie. If Twitch has stepped in now as well, this is what I'm saying. It feels like a targeted thing. This man has been targeted. If Twitch has said, that means they will be banned on Twitch. Mark my words. They're not banned up until now. We've had huge streamers play them, you know. There's even a huge streamer who's in the game. She's one of the girls that you can date. Now, is that a little bit, you know, is there something going on there? I don't know. Like, the whole point of him, one of the excuses being, yes, sexually explicit images of real people, that's bullshit, because it's all censored. It's a complete bullshit. If they're thinking, like, they're talking, like, really, you know, seductive or pervy camera angles, that's kind of always been the way, you know, and you would assume that these women, not that maybe, you know, you go, oh yeah, do it like this, but I assume they got the final say on the shot, right? Isn't that how this works? That's how it works in porn and everything. It's not, we're not talking porn here, but you know what I mean? If we're gonna talk this kind of stuff, it's not as if they were held against their will. They were paid. They were probably showing the final stuff to make sure they're happy, and you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? There might be like a ball that gets dropped. I don't know. I still think like he's out there. It's clearly satirical, clearly for comedy, you know. I don't know. It's just weird. It leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth, because I guarantee you that it feels like he's being targeted, you know. I'm not trying to stick up for the guy or anything. It's just weird how this keeps happening, you know. I hate to see a developer singled out. That's why I bring up Devotion and Red Candle a lot as well. If you've genuinely done something wrong, then fuck yes. Own up to that, and, you know, you get paid for your consequences. But with Red Candle, it was one stupid little joke that anyone else would be like, what? That doesn't even make sense. But somehow, somebody snitched, it got back to the Chinese president, and now they pretty much can't even work in the fucking industry. It's crazy. Anyway, that is today's Daily Dose of Gaming. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for joining me. Very, very cool news today. Very strange, especially around the conspiracy around Kojima's next game being Xbox, and that abandoned game as well. I almost feel bad for those guys, because that game has so much potential, but now it's been completely dwarfed by these crazy witch hunters. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Things are heating up for sure. This month, we still have a lot of games, and then May is just gonna explode into more games as well. It sucks about Deathloop getting delayed as well, but such is life. Such is life. It makes room for those other games. That's how I put it, you know. And this game needs a definite, not rebranding, but it needs, I don't know, bring someone in there who can make a fucking trailer and explain what's going on in that game. Because Arcane are amazing, but clearly are not telling us what their game's about. That's unfortunate. How's it going, Pyro? Yeah, exactly. No problem. What are you talking about, DPG? No problem. Oh, for coming in? Oh, yeah. I always wonder, when people, sometimes like if you take it out of context, like, what? No, I appreciate you guys coming in. Because this is kind of a different style of things, right? It's different. And I know that maybe not all of you want to talk about game news or are interested in it. You'd rather just kind of play the games you like. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on that ill game, Dynamite. Hell yes. And same with you, DPG. I'll keep an eye on that James Bond game. I know you're hyped for. Shocking that there wasn't a Godzilla game that came out with all these new monster movies. We have that 2014 Godzilla game, but less said about that one. And the goddamn fucking Transformers. Blech. Good God. Alright, cool. Nice. That was Thursday's Daily Dose of Gaming. We're almost close to the weekend.